Kia ora. It's such an amazing opportunity to be part of the forward-looking part of this amazing clearinghouse. When Robin asked me to have discussions about how we can address some of these workforce issues, I think the one thing that the university is really privileged to be part of is a range of people with a range of expertise, and so we thought that is something that we need to look at. What you may not realise if you're not in the really complex academic sector is to get two faculties and different schools to work together on one qualification is quite a feat. So that you have there the Faculty of Medical Health Sciences, the Faculty of Education and Social Work, the School of Population Health within that faculty, and the School of Counselling, Human Services and Social Work, coming together to address a sector-wide problem, I think is actually quite unique and quite special. So I want to tell you a little bit in terms of the initiative and what it entails. Obviously, we realise that we need to respond to this problem. I think there's a captured audience here that I don't have to tell you about the scope and size of the problem that we're facing. The number of high-profile cases on an individual level surely is evident in the media in terms of what's going on. But as Janet has alluded to at a population-wide level, there's certainly enough evidence to know that our work is not done, and there's a lot that we need to do to address this problem. For every problem there's a solution, and certainly at the academic end we've looked at what those solutions are. There's a real appetite for change at the moment. There's a lot of local initiatives going on. Successive governments have been instrumental in terms of putting different actions and strategies forward. There are also amazing people in this room attached to a number of organisations doing amazing frontline work. And we know that a collaborative effort is needed. So what we have looked at is that in a number of documents, including some of the government task force documents, international documents from the World Health Organization, University of Cambridge, there are a number of initiatives being called for in terms of workforce development. So we do think a part of the solution is to look at how the workforce can be impacted and influenced in terms of finding parts of the solution to this problem, and this is how this initiative came about. Now, we do know that we need a very comprehensive and theoretically grounded approach to this. It's a huge area to address to talk about workforce development. The need is extensive and diverse for the different types of responses we need. We know that we sit at the response and intervention level as much as we need to work on the level of prevention. And we know that we also have a big task ahead of us in terms of promoting healthy and respectful relationships. So it is not an easy thing to say, how are we tasked with delivering workforce development to address all of these diverse needs and diverse opportunities? However, we can make a start. So what we have done is we looked across the faculties and we came up with a range of expertise, and I really can put a number of people's faces up here, but we've chosen to put up two people that's in the room today. Janet, that you know well, and Irene DeHaan from our faculty, who's got a long list of expertise that we can talk about. I'm not going to go into any detail. But why we have these people up is they would be instrumental in launching the certificate that we've started designing in terms of a pathway for study. So the violence study pathway, we've started designing that by looking at core and advanced competencies offered across the board and promoted by international agencies. And I want to acknowledge the work that Peter Haggard has done in this regard, going into and talking about the discipline-specific core and generic competencies that's needed to advance the workforce in this very complex field. We've looked at all of that alongside our own knowledge and the stated needs of the sector. What are the sorts of things we need to address as a matter of urgency? And the list is as long as my arm, but we had to come to a point in terms of what are those core things that we really cannot go without and that we can address at this point. So we have then used that to go about the existing courses across the university, of which there are many. Some include parts of a response to violence and family violence and domestic violence, and some of them are actually targeted at that level. And that's how we came back to the two fabulous people in terms of Janet and Irene, because there are two particular courses that's being offered. One on interpersonal and family violence, and one on the challenges and responses to domestic violence. And we have been through the processes of putting those together in a postgraduate certificate of health sciences. So people can take those two courses that are targeted at postgraduate level, and will give you a certificate in health sciences to access those two courses. There are then a list of other courses that we have identified that is available in terms of that spectrum of response from prevention at the mental health promotion area, in terms of research, in terms of direct practice, in terms of responding to the diverse needs in this field. So you can, if you were to continue along the pathway of studying in the field of violence studies, you can add other courses and exit with a postgraduate diploma in either social work, health sciences, and even in education if you had that education background. So we have really looked at different pathways in terms of, and I'm not expecting you to read the small print there, but really what it comes down to, they are building blocks that we've started with these two courses, giving you a starting point in terms of a certificate, and then leading into a range of other courses, and that flyer at the back there is going to be made available, so you'll have the details in terms of how you can staircase. You're studying from a basic course into a number of courses, into postgraduate diplomas and masters, and even we can get Sharon back to complete her PhD. So there are many pathways into studying, and we do think the targeted nature of this is actually quite unique and quite special. But we do promote the core qualification of these two courses as a starting point in terms of a postgraduate certificate, and we are hugely excited about that. And that then, as I said, can lead into all these others. So really just to say that as educators, we feel we have a role to play in terms of addressing the issues in the sector, as educators, but also as a critic and conscience of society. We do feel that it's not only about the content of the courses, but eventually we're hoping to make a difference in supporting and extending the leadership and that already exists in the sector, and that we can add and contribute to the goal of eradicating family violence in our great country. So I want to offer you the opportunity to sign up for more information at the back. There's a sign-up sheet in terms of if you want more information for your agencies, for other people that you may know about. We are really actually, as we speak, these flyers are coming off the press, so we will be sending information out in the next month in terms of marketing, and we're happy to send that on to you if you want to add your name to the list. Or you can email Peter Huggard, those of you that know the people in the School of Population Health, or in the Faculty of Education, you can talk to either Alan Bartley or Liz Beddow, or any of the people around would be able to put you on the right path if you're interested. We will also be around, any of us that I've mentioned here, to talk more about that. And I was just, as everybody was saying, in terms of where we were, 10 years ago, we just really feel excited to think if in 10 years' time we can say that was the place where we actually started making a real difference also in terms of the workforce. So we are excited to be part of this future initiative, and I thank Janet and Peter Huggard and the School of Population Health for the partnership. Thank you very much.